Job out Overland Metalhead here. Hope you are going well. And today we're going to be talking about my time in Nicaragua, my 79th country, which happened in December 2018. So what happened was I was on my overland journey from Cancun all the way to Panama, which I didn't end up going to Panama because I was really a bit tired once I got to Costa Rica. So I was in the capital of Honduras, Teg. I'm not going to say it. I can't pronounce the name, so sorry for anyone from Honduras. I get on a daily ticket bus from Teg to Managua, Nicaragua. And the bus actually stops off in other parts of Nicaragua, like Leon and Grenada, I think, yeah. But I wasn't really that interested in going to Leon or I was really interested in going to Managua. That was my main aim. It was Christmas Eve, and I was traveling to get there. So I stamped out at the Honduras border, and then at the Nicaraguan border, it was a bit of a wait up. Like, I took my passport away, the government took my passport away, and instead of stamping my passport, they just stamped a piece of paper to say that I could stay here for 30 days. I had to pay I paid $10 for the tourist card, despite the fact that British citizens can stay in Nicaragua for like 30 days. But normally there's like a C4 agreement between like Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, and Nicaragua that you can spend 90 days in all four of them. So literally the Nicaraguan just giving me like 30 days out of the 90. So leaving the border, I travelled through the west coast, yes, the west coast of Nicaragua, and I saw the Pacific Ocean for the first time in 2 years, because, you know, I was born on the Pacific Ocean overlooking at a hospital, and I hadn't seen it in 2 years. I thought, wow, yeah, my birthplace is 10,000 or so kilometers away from here. Yeah, so I got into Managua at 5 o'clock in the evening, and the funny thing was the street I stayed on was actually called like Tika Bus, because when you ride to somewhere in Nicaragua, which you don't usually say, oh, I'm at 123 Fake Street. I'm like, yeah, my house is next to this big monument, next to a big lemon tree, where there's a woman steals my lemons to make lemonade, her lemon stand across the road. It's a true story, go look it up in geography now. So I pay $8 a night, and this other person staying at the hostel is a Japanese guy, and I thought, oh wow, it's nice to see someone from Japan travelling this far away from his homeland. And so he was also travelling he was doing the reversal of travel that I was doing. I was going like Mexico to Panama, and he was going from like Panama all the way to Mexico in America. So I get out and about at night, and I've only got like my hostel has got no maps of the town, so I have to rely on Google Maps on my phone. The first main thing I see is the Hugo Chavez roundabout, which was installed many years ago in honor of the late Venezuelan president. Like, God bless him and all, he's a good man, despite what other Western imperialist governments say about Venezuela. Yeah, so I started walking down the main boulevard. It's Christmas Eve, there's Christmas markets, there's lights everywhere. And everywhere throughout Managua, there were these like tall, like light lit up trees that like cost 20 grand to run, and they make the city of Managua so damn beautiful. It's really amazing to see all these like light up trees and all. They're all located all around the city centre. So after going through the Christmas markets, I went down to the main like lake area, because there's a lake surrounding like Managua. Well, not necessarily surrounded, but Managua is located next to a big lake. So I saw a big statue of Simon Bolivar that had the flags of Venezuela, Nicaragua, and the South. What do you call it? Sandistria, like a Liberation Front, FSNL. Yeah, I should know this. I spent a lot of time talking to Nicaraguans online. Yeah, like Sandista's flag, yeah, like the red and black flag. And I see this park that has a monument to Pope John Paul II's visit to Managua many years ago before he died. That was like quite nice, even though I'm not like Catholic. There's a good part of Managua where basically all the main tourist sites are. Like there's a cathedral that it was built from materials from the Belgium. There's where, not far from that, is where the president of Nicaragua lives, Daniel Ortega. He's been in power for many years and he's a good man. Then also there are the graves of two guys. Like one of them died like fighting against the Somoza dynasty, and then the other one was a diplomat from Nicaragua and he died of cancer many years ago. So they're buried like near each other, big tombs, and got like an eternal flame. And then there's a small like statue of Augusto Ascendino, who was the guy who fought against the Americans and was killed by the Somoza clan. So the big thing you gotta see in Managua is the statue, well actually it's a silhouette of Sandino, and like you can actually see it from the distance. And so what you got to do to get to this, it's located in a park, and so you gotta go up the road like past the parliament, and you see all these signs that can tell you the history about what happened in the Nicaragua war. Like first of all, the Somozas were screwing around the country, an earthquake happened, and then basically their asses kicked in by the Sandinos, by like the left-wing rebels, and then basically Reagan had to be a fuckwit and basically like brought in these bastards from back by CIA to commit crimes against humanity against the Nicaraguans. It's like they're like just like right-wing idiots. I can't really think about what we're supposed to call them, but yeah, the Contras, yeah. And you know the whole Contra affair, basically America and Iran like secretly traded weapons so they could like back the Contras, and that nearly got Ronald Reagan into really hot water. So I get to the park entrance and there was this Afro-Nicaraguan guy there, and he says to me, can I help you, sir? And he speaks English, and I'm just so shocked that he's speaking English to me, like a native English speaker. And I said, is the park open for your national hero, Sandino? And he's like, Santa? And so I said, no, Sandino, your hero, your national hero of Nicaragua. And he says, oh, the park's closed right now. And so I said, will it be open tomorrow? Because it's Christmas Day. He says, yes, it should be open. I said, well, have a Merry Christmas. And he's like, oh, Merry Christmas. This guy was not just a Afro-Nicaraguan. He wasn't just a descendant of slaves. He basically came from the Caribbean coast of Nicaragua. You see, because the British had like control of the Mosquito Coast, and most of the Garafunas and Mosquito people and like Afro-Nicaraguans, they can speak English. They literally speak English in that part of the country, which a lot of Nicaraguans have openly said, yeah, they speak English, Martin, because of the British Empire. So I go back to my hostel, I have a few toner beers, really nice beer, and some good Nicaraguan snacks, and it was on a Christmas Day in my hometown Australia, and then like 5 hours later it was last Christmas Day in the UK. So I get up the next day, I pay for another day of accommodation, and I go to the park, and the same Afro-Nicaraguan policeman is still standing there. I thought, wow, this guy has been working overnight, he's been working like long hours. And he basically says, feel free to take any photographs, but just don't take any photographs of military officers and all. And then so I pay $1 to get into the park, and it was really like it was a really tear-jerking moment for me to be there on Christmas Day. I saw the tall statue of Sandino, and I learned about what this heroic guy went through for his own people and be killed by fascist, imperialist, and Yankee dickheads, you know. And I even saw this really small tank. And the funny thing was, like, the fascist idiot from Italy, Mussolini, he sold his tank to the Nicaraguans. And so when the Somoza Dynasty was overthrown, they decided to put the shitty tank in next to the statue of Sandino, saying, oh, the imperialists sold us really bad arms. And there's even, like, broken parts of the statue where they tore down the Somoza. I mean, Somoza was on a horse and I tore him down. But I couldn't find that part. And so I spent a good hour at the Memorial Park in honor of Sandino, and when I was leaving, the guy, the Afro-Nicaraguan, he spoke to me, he just says, oh, I'm from the Caribbean coast, so if you'd like to come back next time, you could take a flight from here to my town and then on to Corn Island, which is basically a nice island that the English-speaking people like live nearby. So that was a really nice gesture from a man, and I'll never forget this guy. Because every time I talk to a Nicaraguan, either it's the ambassador to Nicaragua from the UK or the Nicaraguans in their country, I always find it quite impressive people do speak English in Nicaragua, but only in certain parts. Just the Caribbean coast parts. Nicaragua has left a really big footprint on my heart, and I would love to go back there any day of the week, just as long as I could easily get to another like far left nation like Venezuela or Cuba from Managua Airport. I travelled by bus from Managua on Boxing Day all the way to the Costa Rican border, and I was given my exit stamp. And even though it's only one Nicaraguan stamp on my passport, I will always treasure those 2 days I had in Managua, Nicaragua. And I would recommend you, if you're going to like North America, forget the United States and forget Canada. Don't go there. This is so overrated. Go to Central America, especially Nicaragua. You'll love it. Overland, Metalhead, over and out.